And it's a very good morning to the Gelding on a terrible weather day in Melbourne. And Gelding, the major, in inverted commas, metropolitan meeting today is at Cranbourne. I wonder what's going on there. What's the explanation for no races in the greater metropolitan area?
Good morning, Professor. Good morning, listeners. This is this strange time of year when Racing Victoria says, look, we'll give the city tracks a bit of a rest and we'll have some country cups somewhere. This week we have Cranbourne Cup. Then next week, of course, we come back to Caulfield, where they're charging an arm and a leg to get in, Professor. And then the following week, we have the Pakenham Cup on the 4th of December. And then there's the Ballarat Cup somewhere thrown in there. So these are all these standalone meetings where you just get some good horses, but not ones that can race around the carnival. So racing for rather good prize money. Like, I just feel so sorry for the Cranbourne Racing Club, Professor, today. Here they are. Is this July? Are we going to the footy? You know, is it?
It's like football weather, isn't it, Gelding?
Here they are in mid-November. They've got a $500,000 Cranbourne Cup running, so they're throwing plenty of money at it. They've put the race back to a mile to attract a very good field, which they did have and probably still have, but there's 7 scratchings from the race, bringing it down to a 12-horse field. Plenty of other, like three races worth 150,000, Professor, and they get a winter's day for it. So let's hope it's a successful day for them, a heavy 9. I thought there was grave doubts that they'd even hold the race, Professor. So I don't know what kind of track we're going to be served up after the first couple of races are run on it and they cut it up. So hopefully we might get some.
It may well be, Gelding, that if the rain continues as it is, that the meeting may be abandoned. I would have thought. When I looked at the TAB website this morning, and that was early on at about 7:30, the track was rated a soft 6. It's tumbled to a heavy 8 now, a 9. It's still raining outside. The worst it can get is a heavy 10. I reckon by the time it starts, it'll at least be a heavy 10.
Might be heavy bottomless, Professor, and they'll just run the race. So interesting. But look, Sydney's doing the same thing. Their main meeting today is at Newcastle. You know, so it's strange. Kind of a time where you've got to be a bit careful, Professor.
Yes, Gelding, there's 9 races on the card today. The feature race, of course, as you said, race 7, the Cranbourne Cup. It's a listed race valued at $500,000 over 1,600 metres. The rail is in the true position for between the 1,600 metre and the 1,000 metre mark, and then it's 3 metres out for the remainder of the course. Gelding, what are your tips today, bearing in mind that what I usually say is once you get past a heavy 8, throw out the form guide?
Look, it's a bit like that today, Professor. And that's why I'm leaving the Cranbourne Cup alone. I just, there's about 5 or 6 chances there that can win it. So I'm just going to leave the Cranbourne Cup alone. I thought the bet of the day, Professor, and I'll leave to you, is in race 5, but I find it too short for what I think will be a bottomless kind of track today. So
and what was that horse, Gelding?
Oh, well, we'll talk about it when we talk later on, Professor, about race 5.
All right.
So I'm going race 4, a horse rule Sensation, number 3, to be ridden by Damien Lane, trained by Luke Oliver. Look, form's been a bit erratic, and a bit off when you see 7-0 spelled 2-7. The 7th was at Flemington on Oaks Day in a $500,000 race, Professor. I had a good look at that race because a horse I have a share in was looking at that type of race as well. But look, it was only beaten 2 lengths in the 7th. A big drop in class in this race. I saw it win its maiden by 5 lengths, Professor. It's one in the wet. A beautiful looking grey horse. So we might go race 4, number 3, Real Sensation. That is round about the $3.50, Professor. So, we're getting out.
Juicy odds, Gelding. Juicy.
Yeah,
odds.
we're getting out round about, bit on the each way. So, and that's why I'm looking at this meeting, Professor, looking for horses that have got good form in the wet and a good each way chances. I then move on to another one of our favourites. We're back before. Race 6, number 4, Bless Her. We backed it when it ran second during the Caulfield Carnival. The horses then come out and did no good at Flemington. But back on a wet track, back to Cranbourne, where it has won before. Luke Curry on board for Clayton Douglas. Extremely worried about the number 2 horse, Delexation, Professor, but Jolly and Williams aboard. But I'm just thinking at round about the $3.50, Bless Her will be in front of Delexation by a couple of lengths. And in that short straight at Cranbourne, can sneak the lead. So I know she loves the wet, only carrying 54. So, and again, round about the $3.50 mark, Professor. So good each way.
Yeah, good odds there, Gelding.
And your tips, Professor?
Yeah, Gelding, I've gone a little bit earlier than you. I've decided to stay away from the latter half of the card. Race 3, a 3-year-old race over 1,200 metres. I like horse 2. He's exceptional, and I hope the horse is exceptional today. Out of barrier 3, it's had 9 starts for 2 wins and 3 placings. A win rating of 22% and a place rating of 56%. What I like about it, Gelding, is it's won over the distance. It beat Jigsaw, which is its main danger in this race, in August. It's got an apprentice aboard, Thomas Stockdale, claiming 2 kilos, which means that the weights of Jigsaw and He's Exceptional are comparable to back in August when it won. It's currently showing on the tape, Gelding, $6 and $1.95. So they're very good odds in a race like this. Thomas, as I said, Thomas Stockdale, the apprentice aboard, he's in career form, 10% win rate. And going for the home trainers here, Gelding.
Yes.
Sutton and Natalie Young, they're in career form as well, 16%. The usual form's 13% win rating. So all in all, I think a good value bet for punters.
I like it, Professor, and beautifully thought out. I would have thought for a city winner carrying 57 on his home track in Cranbourne against 3-year-olds, and you're getting, those odds of 6, better than each way odds. You make a win if it runs a place. I like the theory. I like it.
And my second bet, Gelding, is in race 5 for fillies and mares, set weights and penalties over 1,400 metres. I like horse 2 in this race, Gelding, Belle Placer, out of barrier 6, 21 starts for an average 4 wins and 5 placings with a win rating of 19% and a place rating of 45%. Its last race was at Flemington. It was a Group 3 back on the 2nd of November. It beat the favourite in this race today, April Rain, which has got a fair bit of following. It beat it by 1.5 lengths, and the weights are comparable. So I think that Belle Placer will beat April Rain home again. What I liked about this one, Gelding, was the value for punters. Last night it was showing $7.50 and $1.95. I did a bit of snooping around and actually got $8.50 and $2. So that's great each way odds. Luke Curry's in the saddle, and we've got a bit of respect for Lukey.
Not after Caulfield.
No, it was a bit tarnished there, but hopefully he can put every foot forward today. And the Ballarat trainers of Tony and Calvin McAvoy, they're in career form. Their career rating was 16%, but their last 50, 18%. So I like those Gelding. So a bit of value there for punters.
Again, Professor, I like it. Obviously, you've had an 8-horse field. You've obviously had to talk to your local trainer, Peter Stokes, because he scratched, one of your favourite horses there, number 9, Way to Go Paula. It's been scratched from that race. And April Rain, Bell Pesara did beat April Rain, but a bit worried there, Professor. But let's say Karen McAvoy it wasn't one of Karen McAvoy's Melbourne Cup rides or Everest rides. On April Rain, the horse had absolutely no luck. And if you had a look at the race, I thought April Rain should have won that race quite easily, Professor. But look, on a heavy 10 track, I like your theory. Like, a horse is beaten at last start, you're getting fantastic value again on the each way basis in an 8-horse field. I don't know whether I couldn't put anyone into April Rain at $1.70 on a heavy bottomless track, Professor. So
no balls.
That's why I left that race alone.
No balls of steel today, Gelding.
No. I left it alone because there's reasons for those other ones, Professor. And
I know, Gelding. Yeah, I know that.
Build up the parlay.
I know that.
Yeah, you build up the parlay. But this isn't the day, and this isn't a horse like those type of horses. This is no Nature Strip or Zaki. So, and I think we were proven right with Zaki, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
We were willowed that other time. So, interesting. And that's another thing today. I think Craig Williams, even though we haven't picked him, Professor, we've gone against him in a couple of races. He might have a bit of a day because he's had a pretty lean spring carnival. I think he only had one winner at Flemington, and at Caulfield wasn't that successful. So, so look forward for that. But look, Professor, we're giving away some good each way punting there today. If we get two of them up, it'll be a profitable day, and have a little bit of confidence in our parlay, Professor, today.
Yes, Gelding. Bit of homework done on that. The agreed bet of the day is race 4, horse 3, Real Sensation. Fortunately, Gelding, there's no Premier League, so because of the World Cup no Premier League because of the World Cup qualifiers, so we're not going to get shafted by Chelsea or some of those teams.
Professor, I thought the very successful Professor's parlay was again home last week. For the listeners, the horse league was up, of course, and we were away, and you've gone the EPL, which Gelding, has been normally very successful in, Professor.
Yeah, Gelding, it's not very often that I get up in the morning and look at the results and I'm astounded. But we picked 2 top 5 teams last week who were playing the second bottom and the third bottom side. And
on their home deck.
And on their home decks. Now, to say that I was astounded for a 1-1 draw for each game was just amazing. You just shake your head at those ones.
You do.
In any event,
soccer.
Yeah. In any event, we're going to steer clear of the Premier League because it's not on. But we'll go for the NFL, the gridiron,
which I have been very, very successful at. Let me tell you, you've run fine form, and that's why I was a bit shocked you went to EPL last week because this is your forte, the NFL.
Well, I was trying to make the EPL my forte as well, Gelding.
I know you're still going very well in that, but.
All right, Gelding, let's go for the Pittsburgh Steelers playing at home. They're very hard to go against to beat the Detroit Lions. The Steelers are 6th in the AFC. They've won 5 out of 8 games. They've got a points differential of -2. That's not all that good, but they're improving. Their first few games this season were terrible. They've come good since then. They're playing Detroit, who haven't come good. They're 16th or bottom in the NFC. Haven't won a game. They've got a points differential of minus 110. They lose by an average of 2 touchdowns nearly every game. So Pittsburgh comfortably at home. And let's parlay that into, as Dan Butley would say, don't bet against Tom Brady, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've won 6 of 8, a plus 77 points differential, so they like scoring. They're away to the Washington football team, who are 15th in the NFC or second last. They've only won 2 games. What I like about this game is that they've got a minus 71 points differential. So the points differential's 148, Gelding. Tampa Bay's
I like it, Professor.
Yeah. At $1.21, I think that's a reasonable bet. The all up for the parlay showing 9-2, which
beautiful
good value for punters.
Beautiful, Professor. Let's hope we can get this the first leg up, which is always the hardest leg, the horse leg. But let's see if we can get that one flying. And just looking out the window here, Professor, Caulfield South, it's raining again. So not heavily, but it's constant rain. So, yeah, I think Cranbourne might get some more, Professor.
Yes, it's raining where I am, Gelding too, and I'm closer to Cranbourne than you are. So, and the rain's coming in from Bass Strait, so it's certainly going to pass over Cranbourne. Before we go,
Gelding, very
Gelding,
good day out on the track, Professor. Nice and windy and cold.
Yeah, good day to be inside, Gelding.
Yes, Professor. I think with the heating. Won't be venturing too far this weekend, I don't think, Professor.
Well, speaking of not venturing too far this weekend, Gelding, we can say that you'll be a starter for Sports Fan Radio tomorrow at midday. We're looking forward to that.
What a ripping show.
The judge, the giraffe, Cooter, you and I, and special guest in the flavour of looking at football teams. Last week we had Sean Callanan, who's running for a board position at Collingwood. You might have seen in the media that Grant Thomas, the former St Kilda coach, has been fairly vocal about St Kilda's play during the year and going forward into 2022, and he wanting the team to be better and being like Richmond and Melbourne and the Western Bulldogs and putting the premiership drought behind them. So it's going to be a very interesting conversation with him tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Sensational get, Professor. Some of the guests you've been getting the last few shows have been fantastic, Professor. So, I'll be very interested to hear Grant Thomas's vision for St Kilda going forward. Been there in the past, likes rattling a few cages to get things done. But that sometimes works. Come in and change it up. So very successful in business. As a coach, he improved them. As an administrator, he improved them. So I'll be interested to hear, not so much on that past type of thing, Professor, but he has some strong views, I think, on the future, and we'd be very interested to hear them going forward.
Yeah. Look, Gelding, I sympathise with him. And to a certain extent, you and I, being good friends, have followed our team's fortunes very closely. You've been to a lot of Melbourne games. I've been to a lot of Richmond games. You listen to me. I listen to you. We have private conversations. We can have them on Sports Fan Radio as well, but we have private conversations about what we both believe was wrong with our team and what was needed to fix it. Grant Thomas is doing exactly what we do. The bad part about those conversations that we had, Gelding, was they were private conversations. We didn't have the stage, if you like, or we're not significant enough players for anybody to listen to us to do something. What I like about Thomas is at least he's having a go and getting out there what he thinks wrong, which is what you and I would have loved to have done. We would have loved the papers or the media to have talked to us about what we thought was wrong. So I see a lot of him in you and I. Very Gelding, how frustrated have we been over the last 30 years?
Oh, exactly, Professor. But as you said, we're interested and we follow our clubs and we support the clubs and things like that. And as we've said many times, you can see things if you're out of the bubble. Okay, if you're in that bubble, you may not see things that are there. So, and that's, you hear football clubs talk about it. Oh, we're doing this in the bubble. We're doing this and we're doing that. And you don't see it on the outside. Well, I say the reverse is, guys, look at it from there. There's some bleeding obvious things that are happening that you've got to correct. So, this kind of bubble, and that's what I'll be interested to hear tomorrow from Grant Thomas, is because he's been in the bubble at St Kilda, done all that. Now he's been outside of it for a little while. Yeah, now he wants to come back on board. So he's probably seeing things, as you said, what we see from looking outside, obvious things that are there that the St Kilda management board, because they're in the bubble, probably are missing those things. So that's what I'm looking forward to hearing tomorrow, what he sees as, and sometimes they may sound negative, but they're not. They can be positive comments that these things are wrong and got to be addressed. Yeah. That's not being negative.
No.
So
no, not at all, Gelding.
Yeah. And that's what I'm going to be very interested in hearing from him tomorrow. And, I hope I could probably listen to him for the whole show, Professor.
Well, we'll see if we can keep him talking for the whole show. That'll be interesting.
Well, we've got the giraffe to contend with.
Oh yeah, we've lost another half an hour tomorrow. So
yeah, so
we got half an hour last week. We've lost it again this week. So. All right, Gelding. Well, until next Saturday, it's good luck
and good punting.